In this video, I'm going to show you how to plan and photograph the International Space Station transiting the Sun. Extra coffee? Never look at the Sun without eye protection. Never point your camera directly at the Sun without the proper solar filter on it. It can easily damage or ruin your camera sensor within a matter of seconds. And finally, never look through your viewfinder while pointing at the Sun unless you have the proper filter or have an electronic viewfinder. Photographing the Sun is cool, but it's not worth damaging your eyesight. The site that I like to use for planning these types of shoots is transit-finder.com. There's a bunch of different sites that can help you, but I like this one the best and have found it to be the easiest to use. The first thing you're going to want to do is select your location. You can scroll down and either hit auto select or select from map. I planned this on my iPad and for some reason it won't recognize my location, but it works fine on my phone when planning. When you hit the select from map button, it'll bring up Google Maps and for some reason this error pops up now. Just ignore it and click OK. From there you can zoom in on and find the general area you want to shoot from and then click save and close. This will bring you to step number 2 of 3 where you can select the days you would like to search for passes. It'll only let you search for around 28 or 29 days. After that, I don't think it can accurately plan the path. Finally, all you have to add is the distance you're willing to travel for a pass. The max distance you can set is just over 125 miles. If you're not willing to travel that far, then put in a smaller number, but you should know that you will get less results and less chances to shoot it every month. You can hit the calculate button and we will move on to how to pick the right pass for you. As you scroll down, you will notice the stars under the pictures of the sun or moon. You want to pick one that's at least a 3-star or preferably a 4-star pass. This means the ISS will fly more directly overhead at your location and you won't have to travel as far to capture it. Next, you're going to see the day, date, and time followed by solar or lunar pass. For this tutorial, I'm going to select the first solar pass with a 4-star rating. Click select on map and once again Google Maps is going to open up and you'll see that annoying error. From here you can zoom in and try to find the exact location you want to shoot from. You can see here that the pass will be visible not far from where I live, indicated by the red area. The closer you are to the center of the red line, the more likely you are to get the ISS passing through the center of the sun or moon. You can shoot the ISS transit from anywhere in the red zone, but the further away from the center line you get, the ISS will fly more through the edge of the sun or moon, resulting in possibly capturing less frames with the ISS in it. I like to look for a park or parking lot to shoot from. As long as you're in the red area, it don't really matter where you shoot, but it can definitely be uncomfortable and awkward if you are on a random sidewalk in front of some dude's house pointing a camera with a big lens around. I found this quiet little park in a neighborhood that looks like the perfect place to shoot from. Once you select the shooting location by tapping on the map, it gives you some really important information. You can see that my pass will be on Monday, February 22nd of this year, and it'll occur at 12:25 p.m. and 30 seconds. Next, you will want to pay attention to the ISS angular size, which is 49.17 for this pass. That tells me that the ISS is going to be higher in the sky and will appear bigger in frame. The higher the number, the better. Scroll down a bit to the transit duration, which is 0.78 seconds, which tells me it will transit in just under a second and will only actually take 0.78 of a second to completely pass through the sun. These transits actually happen really fast, and if you blink or you're not ready, you will miss the shot. The lower the transit duration number, the better. This actually means that the ISS will be orbiting a little bit closer to Earth and will appear bigger in frame. I recommend clicking the recalculate for this location button once you pick your final shooting location for more accurate times and information. That's pretty much it for planning with transit-finder.com. The only other advice for planning I can give you is to keep checking your plan on the site as the path of the ISS changes quite a bit. I actually had planned on shooting from a different park a couple blocks away, but when I rechecked my plan, the path had moved, so I had to find a new spot to shoot from. No big deal. Just be sure to check the plan the day of the shoot, and if possible, check it right before the pass occurs. These path changes are minor, but could definitely result in you missing the shot. Also, I'd like to mention that it's probably a good idea to keep an eye on the weather. I tried to make this video about a year ago, and after I set up my cameras and filmed the whole tutorial, some clouds rolled in just minutes before the pass and I wasn't able to capture it. I like the app called Astrospheric. It's free, and after selecting your location, you can get a very accurate idea of how clear the sky is going to be for your shoot. For today's shoot, I'll be using this sheet of 6x6 solar filter paper. I purchased it for about $15 on Amazon, and I'll leave a link down below in the description if anybody's interested in getting one. There are more expensive filters that can screw on or slide over the lens. I went with one of the cheaper options, and I just attached it with some gaffer's tape to the front of the lens. There's two different methods for capturing the ISS transit. You can put your camera into photo burst mode and hold down the shutter exactly at the precise second when the ISS transits the sun. That's the way I've normally shot these types of events, but it's definitely the harder of the two. To use the photo burst method, you have to have a website open on your phone and keep an eye on the exact time down to the millisecond. I use the website clock.zone, and I found it to be pretty reliable. Unfortunately, the transit time can be off by a second or two, which can result in you missing the shot. The other problem is most cameras will only shoot 7 to 10 frames per second. My Sony A7III here shoots 10 frames per second, but with the ISS transiting the sun in less than a second, I'll be lucky to get about 7, maybe 8 frames with the ISS in it. This is why I ultimately decided to try the other option today. I'm going to set my Sony A7III into 4K resolution, 30 frames per second, and hopefully get double the amount of frames with the ISS in it, somewhere around 20 frames hopefully. This new Benro gear head really helps with these extreme telephoto shots at 1200 millimeters. It's so easy to get the sun or moon in frame and just keep it in frame with just a quick twist of the knob. I have the Sony A7III with a Sigma 150 to 600 lens attached and a Canon 2x extender, which gets me a focal length of 1200 millimeters. It's about to go down in about a minute, so I'm already recording, and fingers crossed, let's see what happens. Okay, new time now. 15 seconds, 5 seconds, now. I've actually captured the ISS transiting the sun and the moon a handful of times each, and I've never physically seen it with my eyes. Obviously you're not going to be looking at the sun, but I looked through my electric viewfinder on the Sony A7III and I saw it. The first time I've ever seen it transit. It's normally really hard to see. The ISS is so small in the frame, even at 1200 millimeters, the ISS is so small and transits the sun in less than a second. It's just a blink of an eye and you can miss it. But this was the first time I actually seen it. Alright, that's about it for this video. If you enjoyed watching the tutorial, leave a like down below. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. And if you want to stay up to date with my latest videos and tutorials, hit the subscribe button and don't forget to click the bell. Thanks for watching.